Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra. They're one of Hollywood's biggest power couples, for sure. But from the very beginning, this persistent theory has followed their whirlwind romance. So today, we're going to crack open the case file and break down the argument that their marriage, well, it might not be exactly what it seems.
And wow, this quote from an anonymous source, it really gets right to the heart of it all, doesn't it? The core idea is that this entire relationship is just a really, really smart career move. So let's unpack the evidence that people point to support this pretty explosive claim.
All right, first up, what is the central accusation here? The theory says this goes way beyond just two people who might not be a perfect match. It suggests their whole union is a professional arrangement, a classic Hollywood PR stunt. So what even is a PR relationship? Well, think of it as a tool that's been in the Hollywood playbook for ages. It's all about generating buzz, maybe cleaning up an image. And the theory we're digging into today argues that Nick and Priyanka's story, it fits this model almost perfectly. Okay, now it is absolutely crucial to say this up front. The couple themselves have always maintained that their love is 100% real. They describe a story of genuine connection and affection. So, with their side of the story on the record, let's start to look at the so-called red flags that have kept the speculation going for years. The first major piece of evidence that gets brought up is the timeline itself. Specifically, just the incredible speed at which everything happened. This quote from a relationship expert kind of puts it all into perspective, right? It helps frame just how unusually fast their courtship was, even for Hollywood. A relationship moving this quickly, it's going to raise some eyebrows. I mean, just take a look at this timeline. They meet for the first time, then, more than a year later, they start publicly dating, and then, boom, they're engaged within 2 months and married before the end of that same year. For people who are skeptical, a timeline this compressed feels less like a natural romance and more like a project with a very tight deadline. So if it was a project, you have to ask, what was the goal? Well, the theory points directly to money, so much so that their wedding celebration got nicknamed SpawnCon, as in a sponsored content convention. Get ready for this number: $2.5 million. That is the reported fee that People magazine paid the couple for the exclusive rights to their wedding photos. A single deal of that size, it really suggests the wedding was just as much a media product as it was a personal ceremony.
But it did not stop there. A whole network of brand partnerships was apparently woven into every single part of the wedding. We're talking a specific vodka brand at Nick's bachelor party, custom scooters for the groomsmen. The whole thing was a marketer's absolute dream.
And this quote right here, it just sums up the whole financial argument perfectly. The feeling wasn't just that they got some free stuff. It was that their wedding was actually a profitable business deal disguised as a marriage ceremony. They might have literally made money on it.
All right, the next exhibit in our case file is all about the story itself, because when you look closely, there seem to be some weird inconsistencies and gaps in the couple's official How We Met story. Let's start with their first big public appearance at the Met Gala. Priyanka's version makes it sound like this cute, spontaneous decision to go together, but the counter-narrative claims it was way more orchestrated, that the designer, Ralph Lauren, just put his two brand ambassadors at the same table. It's a small difference, right? But it's the difference between chance and strategy. And then there's what happened next, or rather, what didn't happen. After this big debut that sparked all these dating rumors, poof. They basically vanished from each other's public lives for an entire year. For a romance that's supposed to be just starting, that's a very strange cool-down period. And this just adds another layer of confusion to that timeline. Just 2 months before they were suddenly a super serious couple in May 2018, Nick was reportedly linked to other people. It just paints this picture of a relationship that went from 0 to 100 with almost no buildup at all. Okay, so this brings us to the most speculative part of the theory. This is where it goes beyond a simple PR arrangement and into something much, much more personal and, frankly, conspiratorial. So to really understand this next part, we need to define a specific piece of Hollywood slang, a beard. Simply put, it's a cover, a public-facing partner in a relationship that's designed to hide something about the other person. Now, the theory alleges that this relationship was totally engineered by their teams. It pulls from rumors that Nick's management wanted a very specific type of partner to help craft his public image, and that his previous, more low-key relationships just weren't doing it. Priyanka, this huge international star, fit the bill perfectly. And here's the thing. This wasn't just some fringe idea whispered in a corner. The theory became so widespread in certain gossip circles that Priyanka was allegedly given this very specific and very pointed nickname. It really shows you how much this idea took hold. So as we start to wrap this whole breakdown up, what are we left with? Let's just do a quick recap of the key points that this whole theory is built on. So when you boil it all down, the case really rests on these 5 pillars. A timeline that feels like it's on fast forward, a wedding that looked more like a trade show, a love story with some conflicting details, that strange year-long gap, and of course those deeper whispers about strategic image control. Ultimately, whether you believe any of this or not, this whole case forces us to ask a much bigger question. In a world where every celebrity is a brand and every life event is potential content, can we even tell the difference anymore between a real romance and just a brilliant marketing strategy? What do you think?